Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game Warrior. My name is Jason.
I'm Jenny.
And we are going to be going over our top 50 games. This is 50 through 41. 50 through 41. You may ask, what about 51 through 100? We don't have that many games, do we?
We almost do.
We almost do.
Close.
Problem is they're
maybe next year.
They're not that good games. I don't think you'd want to know what our bottom.
No,
they're bottom feeders.
The bottom of the barrel, you wouldn't.
Bottom feeders.
The day we have 100, or no, the day we have 200 games, we'll do the top 100.
Okay, Jenny, ladies first. Do you want me to go first so that you end the whole thing? Which one? We should have had this one decided before.
We'll jazz it up. We'll switch it off. But I'll start for the top 50 through 41.
Number 50 from Jenny for this is the 2022 list of all time, and next year it'll be new.
Yep.
Oh, one thing to say, if you're curious about our top 10 or 20 games of 2022, don't worry, we're not doing that list. But those are going to be folded into this list. So if there's new games that we really like from 2022, then they'll be in this list, and we'll mention it to you.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Take it away.
Everybody ready? My number 50 is a campaign-style game, which was a surprise to me. Also has amazing narration. The whole game in particular was actually a really big surprise to me, and it was Familiar Tales.
Familiar Tales. We enjoyed it. It was a little bit kiddie for me.
Yeah, it's cutesy, but the story's great. The narration's great. It's very well written.
Narration, story.
We played quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
We haven't finished it. So the fact that it's sitting right there smack at number 50 makes me want to pull that out again and get that one rolling again. So Familiar Tales.
Familiar Tales. My number 50.
It's unnecessary, is what that is.
My number 50 is a game that we got this year. I'm not sure if it came out this year, but I do think it did. It is the remake of an ancient game back from the 80s, I believe, and it is got a massive tower in the center of it that spits skulls at you and makes nasty noises. It's called Return to Dark Tower. Return to Dark Tower.
I'm surprised that made your top 50 because you were kind of snotty about it.
I am too, but we should tell everyone that we used Pub Meeple.
Pub Meeple, yep.
Pub, not Hub. Pub Meeple, and we put our whole Board Game Geek list into it, and then we did back and forth.
It worked quite well.
And it worked quite well.
Yeah.
So when this faced off against so many other games, I was like, oh yeah, I'd rather play that than those other games. Mm-hmm. However, it did not take me like it took you. She really liked it more than I did, so I'm guessing you'll see that on the list ahead.
He didn't like it because we lost.
I don't remember what we did, but I don't remember.
Lost.
We do have friends that just got it recently, and they rate it way higher.
It's a great game. Super fun.
Super fun. Okay, and that was not on, neither of those games was on the list last year.
Nope.
Okay, so number 49.
All right, my number 49, I believe it was on my list last year. I really enjoy this game. It's not one that you hear about very often, but it's got a special place in my heart, and that is Onitama.
Onitama, let's see if you did have Onitama. It was number 14.
Number 14.
How the mighty have fallen!
We have a lot more games this year, but Onitama is kind of a chess-ish style game. It's super clever. You're just playing against one other person, and you kind of pass around. You circulate a card that tells you how you can move your particular piece during any particular turn. You can also see what's coming up for you, so you can start to strategize that way. You had to really stay on top of it and really engage the whole game. No rest for the weary. So yeah, Onitama.
It's a little bit too much like chess for me. I mean, you just got to bring your A game.
You don't have to know anything about chess to play this game.
No, you don't. But you got to you're in on every single thing. And you're thinking ahead. I enjoyed it, but it stresses me out, and for some reason, it's a stress that I don't like as much.
Yeah.
All right. So, my number 49 is a game... What?
Huh?
Whack at me? Number 49 for me is a game that I like and I feel it has possibilities, and yet it doesn't get to the table very often, in fact, much past the opening, which is Aquatica. There's something cool about it, and I feel like I might really like the game at some point in time, but it hasn't clicked. In the point, and a lot of that is that we have so many games.
Yeah.
Yep. So I have so many games. In fact, it's sitting right over there. I do like it, and I wonder if it'll do a fade into oblivion, never play it again, or it'll come back up, and I may end up liking it.
I feel like
What do you think
Aquatica is one of those games that if we make an effort to get it out, it will climb.
You think? I kind of think so too.
I think Aquatica is a really cool game. It's got really cool art. I think it's quite unique in its mechanics. So, yeah, I like Aquatica. I think, was that last year?
What was your Aquatica was number 21 for you last year.
Oh.
And it was on my list at...
The nothing.
It wasn't on my list. Meanwhile, I should bring up that the Game Warrior is brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
It's not really.
It's not. I just drank Dr. Pepper. So my number 49 is Aquatica,
And
a
coffee.
game that has possibilities.
Yeah, like Aquatica.
Number 48.
Number 48. Okay, my 48, I will be honest, it did not make it to the table this past year, but I do really like this game.
And yet you still like it.
I do like it. I think it's fun. It's quite rambunctious. It's pretty cutthroat. And that is The Godfather, Corleone's Empire. And actually going through this list, it made me really miss this game because it is very fun. I love it. The theme, they do an excellent job pulling through that theme where you're like tossing bodies in the river and blowing people's, areas up and trying to gain as much control as possible. So Godfather, definitely want to pull this one out again. So that is my number 48.
Yeah, it's a Simon game. I think it's an Eric Lang game, and it's one that flies under the radar. But I know some people who like it, and you're one of them, and I would definitely dive in again with it.
Yeah. And plus I just love that theme, like just the Godfather kind of theme and just gangsters and really well done.
Then there is a move where you can just take pretty much all your enemies and throw them in the river, kill them, and just, so it's fun. Okay, oh, wait.
Every time. It's not even on this thing.
Okay, so here's a game that's a campaign style game, so I'm surprised it's here, but again, doing the pub meeple test, A-B, I found that I'm actually thinking of selling this game. And so this has made me rethink it, but I just don't know if it'll pull through. It's on the fence, and it's a campaign game, which is why that is its Vagrantsong. Yes, I know. I can feel the slings and arrows of hate coming from the people who love this game.
It's so cute.
It's wonderful. I love the art. I love the style. It's really just a boss battle where you're going through chain carts. And for some reason, the combat system fell flat for me. Not the feel, not the atmosphere, not the story. Mm-hmm. The combat. I was like, it was fiddly. There were pieces in a bag. It was just, and I was like, this isn't singing to me. And there's games on this list ahead that have combat that do. And so I'll bring that up. So for me, number 48 was Vagrantsong. You have nothing to say to that? That's because it's on her list somewhere. If she gets real quiet.
Okay.
Wait. Number 46.
47.
7. Number 47.
Make sure my numbering's still good. Okay, this one, I was actually surprised that it won out in my top 50 over maybe a couple other games, and that is Radlands.
Radlands.
So I really like Radlands. It's a really quick, easy, I believe it's only 2 players. Mm-hmm. It's a card game. You've also got kind of I believe you have a board or it's been a while. You have something set up in between you, but basically you're trying to take each other out.
Fantastic art. Great.
Fantastic art, kind of
Great
apocalyptic punk.
theme. Oh.
That kind of really poppy neon colors, neon pink, punk style. So I love the art. Also incredibly cutthroat. Like, there is no forgiveness in this game. You basically take advantage of your opponent's weaknesses at the moment, at their weakest, and crush them. So again, Radlands is one that hasn't been out in quite some time, obviously, but I do really like this game.
Yep. I think the reason we don't play it as much is it is a 2-player game, and we play a lot of games with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we've never introduced this to other people because we can't.
It's also quick and easy to throw down and play. So.
Okay, your number 47, Radlands.
I think Radlands may have been on my list last year.
Oh, was it?
No.
Nope.
Just kidding.
We at 47?
Yes.
So I was surprised that this was still on the list. This is an old game, and it's one that we don't play very often. But when we do, every time we do, we have fun. So I'm not sure why it doesn't come out very often, because maybe it's old. It's old, and it's Castle Ravenloft. We just always have fun playing it.
It's a great game.
Just a great game.
Great game.
So, again, the pub meeple helped me. It's one of those things, same with you. It's like, I think we need to bring this out.
Yeah, it's kind of like the original, well, for me, probably not for most people, like kind of like original dungeon crawl.
Original dungeon
game.
crawl,
So
yeah.
Love Castle Ravenloft.
And we have 3 sets of games. So we have these shelves in the kitchen. Those are the games that we're going to use the most often. Then we have a secondary place of games, and then we have a basement filled with games. And that's never gone to the basement, so it's but we don't play it. It's still in the middle. So my 47, Castle Ravenloft, Dungeons and Dragons. Now on to 46. What do you got, Jenny?
What do I got? All right, 46, also a little bit of a surprise to me, but I can see how it made it, and that is Isle of Cats.
Isle of Cats.
Isle of Cats. So Isle of Cats is a polyomino.
It's a polygamous.
A polyomino style game where you're fitting cats of different shapes on your boat, as well as collecting cards so you can get some end of game or during game scoring, and you can or certain actions and things like that. So it's a fun little game. I love the artwork. Super, super cute. But there's also a game there. There's a game underneath that, if you play it well and you play it strategically, you can crush your opponents. So my 46 is Isle of Kitties.
And that's fallen. It was 24 last year.
Oh.
Yeah. Really, I blame my son for that. Riley came and played us like 3 or 4 times and literally just like stomped us over and over. Like he figured out the loophole and how to do it. And I haven't played it since. Mm-hmm. A little window into my soul. Yeah, and even then, it's a fun game, but it's not the games that I think it's a little overrated because the first time you play it's so cute and cool, it's neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it doesn't have staying power. I'm not surprised it's dropped. Gosh, was it even on my list? It was my 18 last year. I'm not sure if it's even on this list. We'll find out. Okay. What number was that?
46.
That was 46? Okay, so my 46 is a game that has been slipping for me for years, and the genre of games. And this is Zombicide Green Horde. Now, I think we've changed our list. I have the different Zombicides on there, and you have combined them into one, right?
No, but no. That's all I'm saying. No.
Okay. So, Zombicide Green Horde. We played it and had a lot of fun, and it is a game, but I think there's just something about, I don't know that you could ever get my Zombicide excitement back. I might be at that place. You
really?
love the game.
Yeah.
But there was a time when it was like, oh my gosh, like Zombicide,
It's such a fun game to pull out with a whole group of people. I don't think it's as fun just playing a 2-player game and us playing. But I think when you have a group of people and you pull out Zombicide, that's a fun game.
That is an interesting difference between the two of us, maybe, is that there'll be games there's games I can go back to. Dungeons and Dragons has proved to be one of those. Magic the Gathering has proved to be one of those. But some games I get to a point where, and I know you hit that point with a couple of them, like Ticket to Ride is a game you never want to play again. I don't know that you ever liked it, though.
I didn't know any better.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. But I remember loving Ticket to Ride. Like if you said, "Hey, you want to play Ticket to Ride?" I'd get all excited. And I just wouldn't want to play now. And I kind of get in that way with Zombicide. But I still, I don't know if it was all set up.
I can't believe you said Zombicide and Ticket to Ride and like.
Nah, they're not the same. My 46 is Zombicide. So number 45.
All right. My number 45 was a new game for me this year, but a old game for pretty much everybody else in the world. So my 45 is Magic the Gathering. Woo! So I finally got to learn this year. Jason's been saying he's going to teach it to me for quite some time, but finally this year we got it out. I think you got new sets? Is that
Yeah, what happened is we got the Commander sets for Warhammer. There's a video up on my channel for one of them. And we're Warhammer fans, huge Warhammer fans, and huge Magic fans. And so they put these Commander decks out, this crossover. And if you're a fan of both, it's just manna from heaven. I love it. It's absolutely so fun. The lore of Warhammer in a Magic game, it's awesome. This is a level of the game that she's not even cluing into. But she got to play the game, the actual mana, Magic the game, getting lands, tapping, summoning monsters, and killing each other. And we did it in the Commander format, which was really fun for her.
Yeah, and I can really appreciate why this game is so popular. I obviously haven't played it very much, really have no idea still what I'm doing in the game, and still require quite a bit of help, but I definitely get it. It's a really fun game. Lots of strategy, lots of combos, lots of stringing together things.
Yeah.
So my 45, Magic the Gathering.
Wow, I'm impressed. I am impressed. So my 45 is a game we haven't played for a while, but is something I think about often, and so I'm just not sure why we haven't played it. Every time, I think I do know. I played this, we learned it together, we loved it, and we got this ridiculous idea that we needed to share it with other people. And we got groups of people, large groups of people to play it with us, and it lost the charm for me. And so that game is Chronicles of Crime.
Oh, okay.
Which is much more of a game that I like sitting here with you and me just playing and figuring out.
It drags with a bunch of people.
It drags, and we and we got excited and Idiot Wonder Boys, and we said, let's share this. And that's not a game to share. Just me and you. It's a game for me and you to play. And I know we'll return to it because when we get that app integration and everything going, it is so fun. Really well done game. I highly recommend Chronicles of Crime. I just don't recommend it in large groups.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, though, I should say if you play it with a large group that's super invested and super engaged, because I think that also killed it for me, too, is we played it with groups that were kind of distracted or not really fully present, kind of splitting their time between the game and something else, and that made it pretty much intolerable.
Pretty much intolerable. Number 44. 44.
Okay, my number 44 is you get to play an agent chasing a villain through time.
Time stories?
The Loop. So The Loop is my number 44. I think it's a really fun, very strategic game. Again, another game I think you have to really stay engaged with and trying to figure it out. When we've played it, we've lost because it is pretty tricky and you're, like I said, basically chasing a villain throughout time. He's duplicating himself. You're playing cards in order to catch him. So, but I think it's a really fun game. Jason, I think, struggled with it because we lost. But The Loop, I think it's a really
it was fun.
Game.
It was fun, and it's definitely it's a great strategy game that's cooperative.
Yeah.
Like we both have to pay attention. Mm-hmm. And we're going to play it more. In fact, I think we're going to like it a lot more. Mm-hmm. Again, that game has suffered from so many games.
Yeah.
But actually, she keeps asking to play it again.
I think it's kind of the same story as Aquatica. If it made it to the table, if we made the effort to get it to the table, we'd really enjoy playing it again. So,
Okay.
The Loop.
Her number 44, The Loop. My 44 is an older classic. I mean, it's not really that old. It's Champions of Midgard. A game I really enjoy. And dice chucking. Everyone I've ever taught it to likes it.
Yeah.
We've just brought it out, had a lot of fun. It's a great fun game. It's a fun game. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing better than heaping shame on your enemy. It's really one of the funnest parts of the game.
I think the funnest part of the game is how many dice you can actually build up to rolling. That's, to me, the funnest part of the game. Is like all of a sudden you've got just a handful of dice that you are throwing to see if you can beat the Dragor, I don't know how you say it, or
Trolls, Drago, or the monsters across the sea. Yeah. Very thematic with the Norse. It's this great worker placement, dice chucking combination. It's just fun. Mm-hmm. It's just fun.
Yep.
So my number 44, Champions of Midgard.
Okay. My number
43.
My number 43 was already on Jason's list.
First crossover.
There's going to be a lot of them.
Nah.
We tend to play games together.
I don't know what she's talking about.
So my number 43 was Vagrantsong. And like Jason said, it's a cooperative game. You are these cute little characters that have special powers. You're in a train car.
And they're not miniatures, which is worth saying.
They're little acrylic.
But they're very pretty.
They're acrylic standees. Very well done. I love Jason said he didn't like pulling things out of the bag. I love pulling things out of the bag. I love the theme. I love the art. Cutest game. And I don't mean cute as in cutesy, but like just really well done. That kind of 1920s Betty Boop-ish kind of style, cartoony. So the theme of this game speaks to me, but
why is it?
The clunkiness of it was just kind of a downer. So it, the beating, the villains, the haints, the ghosts, the monsters, or whatever. It just didn't have that excitement. So, when I compare it to some of the other games where we go in and we beat monsters or things like that, there was never that thrilling moment where you're like, and it just came down to the last minute and you're like, we won. So there was never that thrill for me. And Jason also mentioned that there was kind of a clunkiness to flipping back and forth and trying to figure out the story, and then you'd forget an element of the story, and then all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, we forgot, we have to be doing this thing. So maybe a limitation on our part, but we put it on the pile to sell, but I don't know that I'm quite there yet. It's the theme. The theme is so cute. The art is so cute. I almost want to give it another chance to see if it can overcome itself. But yeah, Vagrantsong is my number 43. No.
So, this is again Pub Meeple doing this. So I already have a crossover with myself.
Wow.
This is Zombicide Black Plague. Zombicide Black Plague.
Interesting. For someone who doesn't like Zombicide, you have 2 Zombicides in your top 50.
Yeah. I'm surprised Green Horde is so close to Black Plague, because Black Plague is definitely our go-to. I'm not a fan of the feel of a modern Zombicide. The cars and Molotov cocktails, I just don't like it. I love the fantasy feel of Black Plague. I like the rules upgrades, the component upgrades. It's even painted. So yeah, Black Plague is my number
43.
43 It's the smallest clipboard I could find.
Right.
43, Zombicide, a game that's fallen, right? In old days, that was way higher. So, All right. Number 42, Jenny. What do you got for us?
All right.
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, what do you got?
What do I got?
You want me to tell everyone?
No. Okay. See, I just have paper. I don't have to have this ridiculous clipboard. Okay. My number 42 is Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. So Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, it's, I guess, kind of an area control game.
It's what they call a 4X game.
Okay.
Because you build up, I don't know what it means.
But it is one.
You build buildings, you buy people, you grow a community, and then you exterminate. One of the X's is exterminate your enemies.
All right, so Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, area control. You're battling the other people. I like it because it does take advantage of land, air, and sea, which I had never had before in a game like that, where you actually get to launch things into the air if you can actually get them into play, or if you can get your boats into play. They can be a little difficult to get. I mean, it takes some work to get those things into play, but I thought it was a really clever game, really fun. Again, it can become pretty cutthroat. But so my number 42, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
I think this game has the opportunity for me to really, I don't think it's in my top 50. I'd be surprised if it is, but as a possibility of the game, like in a different era, had I got this when I was a kid in the 80s, we would have played it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Maybe 100. Like maybe 1,000.
Yeah, it's a well-done game.
It's a well-done game.
Really
It's just a game that, yeah, if you want to play that style, and I think we showed it to some friends, and they weren't too taken from it, but we actually liked it. Yeah, we liked it. Okay, my number 42, right? Don't look. Okay, this is a game that was on my list last year at 15 and has fallen mightily. Is Atlantis Rising. And I think one of the reasons it's fallen is that we're supposed to have had a expansion for it called Monstrosities, and the company, which does gorgeous games, just what they've done. And I'm not sure what the company is. Is it Elf Creek? It's sitting right there. There it is. It's Elf Creek Games. Have just had a lot of problems getting this expansion to us. I don't know whether it was all their fault, if they just mismanaged things. They even had we had to donate some extra money to get it here for shipping, and it's still not here. I think it's close, and so that's kind of soured it a little for me.
That soured the game itself for you?
Yeah. I get soured on poor management practices, and it's not their fault. Maybe it's not their fault. They do great games, but this game just like by now it should have been delivered. It doesn't have miniatures in it. I don't know what took so long. I'm sure it's not their fault. I'm not trying to be mean. I like the game.
All right. Grumpy.
Okay, the last one on this list, 50 to 41. So 41, bring us, well, not quite. I'll bring us home. What's your last one for this video? All
right, so my number 41 is Zombicide, Undead or Alive. This is my one and only Zombicide in my top 50.
Oh.
I love the theme of a Western Zombicide. I like being able to use rifles and guns. I like, just the theme itself is cool. Having a train that you can play with. I mean, it's not an actual train, but having some of the boards have a train I think is really cool. Having townspeople that search for you, but
horses.
Then, so it's... I think the theme is really cool. We've played it, lost miserably, so it is very hard. We've lost even on the easy game, so it's a pretty hard game. But Zombicide, Undead or Alive.
So this is not on my list, but it would be if it wasn't so hard. I love the theme of it. I thought it was really fun. We got it. I started painting it. I mean, I was just all in on this one.
And the characters too. I mean, you have some of the famous characters,
White Earp and everything. It's just, it was so exciting. And I know that there's a zeitgeist around Zombicide, which is that the last few series were getting easier and easier, and people were like complaining, and it was like, well, this is just too easy. And so they said, okay. Simon said,
All right,
okay, you want hard?
Sure.
It was brutal, and I was like, oh man, you took the fun away, man. Just put some levels in there. I mean, when we played the easy games, like, okay, it's easy, medium, or hard, and you're like, play the easy one. And we just played over and over and kept dying. I was like, okay, then why'd you call it easy? It's not easy. Make it easy. Oh, it's easy. And then the people complaining, well, I want a hard one. Go play the hard scenario and kill them. It's too hard. I want to have fun, and I just kept getting slaughtered. Okay.
All right.
My number 41, which is on the other page. This is one that's on your list. This is the second crossover, which was a game that was really fun. And I think it was Familiar Tales. I just really liked it. I love the voice acting on the app. I love the art. I love the story. It was fun. It was a little kiddie. I mean, this would have been so wonderful. I think when we did our review, we said it.
Yeah.
I would have, my 10 to 12-year-old kids, we would have loved to take this through them. They would have gone through the whole thing. It would have been great. But once again, the mechanics were a little clunky with pieces everywhere. It's a mess game-wise. There's a lot of
There's a lot going on.
And I was like, can I just make this, I don't know. There's a balance between too many tokens. There's a lot of tokens. So I really liked it, though. I loved that there was a story. It felt good. Had this atmosphere. The voice act, the app was so wonderful.
I really liked the powers that the characters had. I thought they were very, they kind of really crafted these characters, I think, very well that you play throughout the game. So
yeah, it was a fun story. I wish it had, again, mechanically, it lacked in mechanics for me. Okay, so 50 through 41. We're wrapping up our first video. Any final thoughts on that?
Let me check.
Any final thoughts?
Nope.
Final thoughts. Final thoughts.
You have final thoughts on your list?
I'm kind of surprised that Vagrantsong's on there. Return to Dark Tower.
Okay.
Those were a little bit surprising to me. Even Familiar Tales. I guess I liked Familiar Tales, but I kept thinking, am I ever going to play it again? And that's the way it is with campaign games, right?
The fact that Vagrantsong and Familiar Tales are in my top 50 makes me want to give them another shot.
Yep. Okay, everybody. This is Jason.
And Jenny.
And until next time, have a great new year and good gaming.